All right, so welcome at this live stream. I believe this is already live stream number 5 since I started doing these again. So thank you for joining me today. Last week we did a live transcription on Tommy Emmanuel's Papa George, and today we're gonna do the tutorial part of it, and I'm going to show you how to play it exactly. I've done a little bit more of a deep dive in my own time to make sure that the tablature is correct. The tablature is available for patrons. And what I also wanted to get out there right now is that this Friday, I will be doing the next live stream. And I believe that live stream will be at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's going to be 12 p.m. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a 3-hour time difference there. I'm just going to quickly check my calendar here to make sure that I'm not saying anything strange, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yes, this Friday at 9. The plan is to sort of keep my live streams around that time and on those days. So Wednesday and Friday. So Wednesday at 10, Friday at 9. This may change in the future, of course, but for now, that's where we'll keep it. So for today, as I mentioned, we're going to be working on the Tommy Emmanuel tune. If you have any questions during the live stream, please ask it. I always like to know, who's watching. I noticed that a lot of my viewers, not that there is like tons of viewers right now, but when I look at my channel statistics, are new viewers coming in. So yeah, I'd like to get to know you. What stuff do you enjoy me covering during the live streams and such? And then I can, of course, help out there. How about that? I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee, and then I'm going to do a quick playthrough of what we're going to work on, and then we'll get started. Oh man, that was hot. Woo. And I can take a beating when it comes to hot liquids, but ooh, that was hot. Okay. So I hope you're all having a great morning or afternoon or wherever you are. This is going to be Papa George. All right, here we go. Ah, there you go. I fumbled there at the end. Sorry about that. I was practicing it this morning. I had a gig yesterday evening, and I was practicing for that mainly. So this morning I had some time to prepare for the live stream, but this is a new tune for me as well. So I'm kind of learning it on the go. But yeah, so that is basically how you play it. That's the first part. The second half I'm going to do probably this Friday or next Tuesday. It kind of depends on my mood and whether I have time to prepare it. All right, so I'm going to switch to a different view. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to guide you through the chords. Am I leaving out the slaps? No, I don't think I necessarily did. I just don't play them maybe as pronounced. And they're not necessarily like super slappy. He just definitely attacks the strings a little bit more there. But we'll get into that. All right. So let's make sure that we got the right view there. Let's get to my overview. Yeah, that looks good. All right. That's the view. There you go. I got my tablature. You guys need something different. All right. So the first part is you have this shape here. So that is point of finger on B4, pinky on G6, and ring finger on D6. All right. Then what you do is you play, maybe I should change to this view actually. What you play is you play thumb D, index finger G, middle finger B, and ring finger E. So you play, and then what I do is I play G, index finger, middle finger, and then ring finger, and open B. It's like this. Right? Then you go to this shape here, which is an A chord, but a little bit later, the open B is added to it. So that's going to be an A add 9. I'm playing that and because Tommy is middle finger G6, ring finger D7, and thumb is going to be on E5, right? And what you do is your thumb is going to be playing E, index finger D, middle finger G, right? You play them together, then index finger plays D. And then what you do is you strum, and at the same time, your thumb will hit the strings, right? Then what you do is you move the shape up a whole step, changing it from A to B, and then there you play, you pluck the same strings, then you play the bass with your thumb, index finger D string, and now we're going to change to E5, so that is going to be, ring finger's in the same spot, but your pinky is going to play G9, and you just strum it like that. Okay, so from here, from the A chord, so we have, and that's also like a slap and like, I guess a flick you could call it. And then you flick it up as well. So you play an upstroke with your index finger, right? So like this. Then we play E string, D string, and then a strum. And then we play the E string again, open, right? So once more from the start. Right. So, that's what we got so far. So that's the first beginning. What I would do is I would definitely, if you're starting to learn this song, after I've added that last little bit, because I forgot a little bit here, but I would start practicing that on repeat, those 2 bars, because the essence of the first whole section is in those first 2 bars, and that's kind of how I tend to practice myself. So what I do is I start with just learning 1 or 2 bars, and then I try to get them really to a level where I feel like, oh, this is starting to sound pretty good. The reason for that is because that's where you set the bar, right? So is the rhythm correct? Is are the techniques correct? So if that starts to sound really good, and then you go to the next 2 bars, those 2 bars are going to be compared to the bar you set in the first 2. So if you're kind of going sloppily through the first 2 bars, there's nothing keeping you from playing very sloppy on the next 2 bars. And that's not really what we want. What we want is we want to set the bar high in the first 2, because most likely we will try to keep that level throughout the things that we do. So that's just a quick insight in in how I practice. I don't know. Maybe you have a different way to practice. If you do, just leave a comment in the comment section or in the chat, I guess, in this case, so we can maybe learn from your way of practicing. All right, so the last bit that comes after is this one. Basically, it's that intro, that opening chord. So point a finger on B4, pinky on G6, ring finger on D6, and then your thumb is going to be on E4, right? And then the only thing you do is, right, so somebody's mentioning, and that somebody is Jerry, just notice that the live version, Tommy has capo on 2nd fret. That's true. I'm not doing that because when you're working with a capo and you're doing a tutorial, it's a little tricky because for me, it can get confusing. So sometimes I will instinctively say things in relationship to the capo. I noticed this happening on the live stream that I did last week. So I would say things in relationship to the capo, and other moments I would do differently. So yeah, so the easier part is to just do no capo, and then you learn it without the capo, you do the tutorial, and then what you can do is once you know how to play the song, you can just slap on the capo and go from there, because by then you know how to play it. And that's a little trick I learned from the other guy. It sounds very disrespectful, but I don't mean it that way. The other guy who does a lot of Tommy Emmanuel tutorials. All right, so where was I? Oh yeah, so we have that chord, right? So, and then you play E and E together, then middle finger B, index finger G, and then open B. So like this, right? So when we add it all up, we get this. Right? And then what I would do is I would put that into a repeat. So right? And it's really nice. Hold on. Yes. Yes, live definitely happens. All right, so let's go to the next one, which is going to be easier because, well, a lot of stuff is similar. So with the next one, we again start with that A chord that we had. So we've got, right? So you pluck E, D, and G, then index finger D, and then that slap and the strum. And then you play. Then you move up to the B chord, but in this case, we don't have that open B string, but we put our index finger on 7th of that B string. And let's see, yeah, and you play the bass. Then we pluck E, D, G, and B. And then what we do with our ring finger, this is a little tricky for some. We make a hammer-on. And basically how you do that is your ring finger is nicely bent on that D string, and then you sort of bend it backwards, I guess, because that ring finger has to stay onto that D string, and you bend it backwards like that. And then you pluck it again like that. So you get. Then you remove that ring finger from those strings. It stays on the D strings though, and then you strum it, and then you pluck D, G, and B again. All right, so we get A chord, right? Now for the switch to the next chord, so the next chord is going to be an E chord. What you will basically do is your index finger and your middle finger will swap places like this, right? While also the hand moving to fourth position there, right? So once you've played this part, we move to fourth position, index finger, middle finger swap places, and we remove our thumb from the E string. Then we play open E, index finger, middle finger, and ring finger pluck D, G, and B. Then we strum it, and then we play the open E string. All right, so. So, 3, 4. Then we get that same chord that we play at the end, right? So we go back to this one, which is E major 7 over G sharp, E major 9 actually. Actually, all right. So if we're talking chords here, there's a third in there, the major 6, the major 7, and the major 2nd. So I guess that would be, wow, E6, 9, major 7. I don't know. That's a lot of notes. Anyway, so but there you play the same thing as you did after the first 2 bars. All right, so let's do that. So 3, 4. Right? So if you've practiced the first part, the first 2 bars, like on repeat, then I would do the same thing with these 2 bars. And yeah, you should be good to go. So after having played this, we get the next part. I'll play it first. So that goes like this. Now here there is a lot of new stuff happening. It starts with the same A major chord, so we play that. But then we go to C diminished. So that is ring finger on G8, index finger on D7, and middle finger is going to be on E8 as well. And you pluck it, thumb, index, middle finger. Then you play open E. Then you pluck it again with the middle finger on 8. Then you strum sort of the top 3 strings. And then you move to C sharp minor. And that C sharp minor chord is index finger barring 4th position of A through E. Middle finger is on B5, pinky is on G6, and ring finger is on D6. Right? And what you do there is you play, first you sort of do an upstroke like that, because we're still coming out of that C diminished. So we have, so after that upstroke, you play the bass of that chord with the thumb, index finger plays the D string, and then we do a strum, right? Then we go to just open D, and then the next part is going to be playing a triad, the D triad, in 5th position. So that's pointer finger, E5, ring finger, B7, and pinky B7 and ring finger on G7, right? And there you do what I would call a forward roll. Let me see if I can give you a little bit of a close-up there. So like this, right? It's basically just rolling one finger after the other. Having relaxed fingers definitely helps when doing that. Okay, so going back to this view here. So we have, then index finger goes to 4. Then we play that B string, and then we play open E, right? So what we get is this. All right. So now let's just do a quick playthrough of what we have so far. I'm sure I'll play a mistake or two in there. I'll do my best to do it. Pretty good job. Here we go. I'll just give like an overview shot. Here we go. Kind of like that. All right, so then we get to, I guess, sort of the closing part of that first section, and that goes like this. And we recognize that one, I guess. All right, so what do? So the first thing that you do there is you play A sus2. Well, let's just start with an A chord, just an A chord. I believe how Tommy frets it in this case is he's got ring finger on the B string, index finger on the G, and middle finger on the D string, right? But he starts without the ring finger. So basically playing A sus2, you play A and B together with thumb and ring finger. Ring finger makes a hammer-on here on the B string. So then index finger plays D, then ring finger plays B. Let's see. Yeah, and then middle finger plays the G string. So then you just play A, B, A, right? Then you switch to, and this is going to be such a tough chord for some of you, right? Because that is pointer finger on B1, pinky on G4, and middle finger on D2. And there we do that forward roll again, right? Then you make a pull off like this. But here comes the relief. So we play open A and then let go over a pinky. Index finger has already let go. And then we play ring finger on the G string in second, right? So we get that A minor add 9 chord, pull off with the index finger, open A, and ring finger on second of G. Okay. Then you play A, open E, bass E, and then we go to this this interval here. So pointer finger on G second and middle finger on A3, and then we slide it down a half step. Right. So 3, 4. And then we play the whole thing, bass, and then we get that that ending chord, that G major 7 with G sharp in the bass, like that. And then it goes back to the beginning. Okay? So and then we go to I did. That went completely wrong. Anyways, so that kind of sums up that first section. I believe I have the whole thing, the tablature all the way through to the end, and available for my for everyone on Patreon. I do believe I still have to add chord symbols to the last section, and I have to do some last checking for mistakes, but that's pretty much it. So I'm guessing I'm just going to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions. Maybe there is a certain technique somewhere in this tune that you want explained. If so, then yeah, you should definitely let me know, because we can right now if you want, in case you're interested in learning it. But yeah, anyways, have a wonderful rest of your week, and then hopefully I will see you again on Friday. Have a good one.